What's up, everybody? In today's action-packed episode, we talk about whether Eunji can use Gen Z slang and get away with it.
Peter gets rejected by a bunch of senior citizens.
And also, we answered the question, did Peter get caught jerking off by his mom? Find out all the answers to that and all your questions on today's episode of Two Kims, One Pod. Hi, welcome back to Two Kims,
One Pod.
One Pod. I'm your host, Peter Kim.
And I'm your other host, Eunji Kim.
And this week, we are back to you with another fun episode. I can't wait to dive into it. Eunji, there's so much to talk about.
There really is.
First of all, before we get into our first segment, I just have to scream about Chris Rock. Chris Rock and Diplo.
This Burning Man stuff is so crazy.
Chris Rock and Diplo got saved, got rescued by a fan's pickup truck at Burning Man. Now, if you don't know what's going on, Burning Man has been completely washed out. If you don't know what Burning Man is,
good.
Good for you. And secondly, it's a long weekend of basically like rich hippies or rich like people acting like hippies, creating this like makeshift town to all like basically be dirty and do art and like heterosexuals fucking each other in some kind of like funky orgy. It probably smells disgusting. My roommate from San Francisco used to go every year and he was a disgusting person. So it's like peak Caucasity. It is like, it's Coachella times 1,000. You know what I mean? Like, think about that. And it's like, you have to like you have to barter, you have to bring your own water and food in. So like,
because there's no commerce. So the one of the big ethos and big mantras of Burning Man is that the playa provides. So the place that they go is called the playa, and they simply barter. It's supposed to be this utopian sort of hippie ideal where money is not necessary. It's just simply about what people need and what you have, and creating art. It is truly some of the most heinous hippie bullshit.
Disgusting.
And it really is. Like I've hung out with a fair amount of burners because I've been a druggie person.
Same.
So I've interacted with a fair amount, and especially in San Francisco, a fair amount of hippies and burners, which is what they're called. Truly some of the most heinous human beings I've ever interacted with. And it's all under the guise of Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, what she wants. Everyone's pants are harem and patterned. And so many white people with dreads. Like, this is the energy of the place. And it is honestly some of the most narcissistic people I've ever met in my life that only espouse wellness and like bullshit hippie ideals. And
for a long weekend.
Absolutely.
In the desert. That's it. And then they're right back at their Google jobs. Yeah,
absolutely. That's like 100%. The tech bro boom happened.
You got it.
Because I think before it was like a little bit more of like a hippie sort of utopian. It's very small. And
over 10 years ago, maybe.
20, yes. And there are a lot of old hippies. But again, I don't love hippies. So like, I think I don't fuck with that energy.
Dave Chappelle said it best. They have great ideas, but wash your feet.
Yeah, truly. And I also, I just think that there's something about hippie ideals that are very narcissistic, because there's anyone that is that involved with finding enlightenment, right? Like even Buddha, who found enlightenment, abandoned an entire fucking family. Like, he had kids and a wife, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on me. And that is the energy. It's so deeply narcissistic, self-serving, because it's, and if you think about a lot of the ideals in this hippiness, it's like self-love. So like everything is self-oriented. And this sort of like idea that in this place that it will suddenly become an organic whole when everyone is focused on self is like sort of this peak Caucasity of it. Like, no, you know what I mean? Like,
and it's easy to spout utopia when everyone is white and rich. Like,
absolutely.
Relax.
I mean, in the last 10, 15 years, that like sort of thing is much more. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like a totally different thing now. But
and like the
with
thing
that being said,
is,
that's why it's so crazy that this has become a thing where Chris Rock and Diplo are hanging out together at this Burning Man festival, and it got washed out. It's never been like this before. People are stuck. Everything's muddy. People are stuck inside the mud. There's a whole thing there where like people just take bicycles around with little umbrellas because they're like, it's the desert and we just love to be organic and bipedal, and like it's just like now they can't even move because it's all mudded and disgusting. It's horrific.
It's also a very
what's going
specific kind of mud because the playa is inside of like a dried up river, a lake bed. So it's incredibly alkalized, which means it was like a saltwater lake or whatever. So the clay is dangerous.
It's like it's sticky and heavy and like crust.
You cannot wash it up. You cannot wash it off. You have to use vinegar. You have to like chip it away.
It's caked.
Like, caked. You cannot actually, it's not regular mud. It is special Burning Man stupid mud. Like even
and
that.
Which never occurs because it never rains. It never rains. But due to climate change, now Burning Man is becoming Drowning Man. And now they're stuck. And why is Chris Rock there? I don't understand why Chris Rock is there, because Chris Rock has been the arbiter of outsider voice his entire career. Black men are like this. N-words are like this. Black, white people, different. Like, this is your whole career. And now you're coming to us at Burning Man with Diplo, the douchiest DJ. Like, why are we doing this? Why are you doing this, Chris Rock? Like, where, what are we doing? I have no context for anything anymore. Like, why? And it's really upsetting to me.
It is also a testament to like how psychedelics have really infiltrated the mainstream culture in such a way that like I'm 100% certain that Chris Rock is like engaging in some like light psychedelic, like he's taking mushrooms, he's doing this, and he's like
doing dirty hippie orgies.
Absolutely,
he's there for the hetero white girl sex.
Oh, you think so? That's why?
Of course. Why else would he be there? He has a beautiful house in like a mansion in New Jersey. Why are you stuck in the fucking mud? Like, ew, no. You're there for white pussy.
I mean, truly.
You're there for dirty white pussy.
To go that far for dirty white pussy?
To go that far? Bitch, you can go to Brooklyn. There's dirty white pussy in Brooklyn.
Absolutely. And that's dirt he's familiar with. It's not alkalized dirt. Like, it's...
No, it washes off fast. You don't need a pickaxe to get rid of that.
I mean, he did
look just really upsetting.
It was wild because he looked relatively... Because they had apparently... Because they're... because it's so muddy and the... so hard, like there have been no transports have been able to get in or out unless they're like, because it has to dry, and so people are just walking out because there are no cars coming in. So I guess they had walked 5 miles and then pitched a ride. I'm 100% sure they had to have paid so much money for this ride.
No, they were fans. They were like, yo, Rock, and they picked him up. And of course, he's noticeable because he's literally the only man of color around. I mean, it's very upsetting for me that this like prolific, just a philosophical pinnacle of comedy is in the dirt, in the literal mud and dirt with these fucking... disgustingly like they're like capitalist masquerading as communists. It's just like
I mean, also the hurt. I don't know. The hurt, I think, is particular for you because Chris Rock is 100% a tentpole for you in your comedy.
Yes, he was seminal to me.
Yeah, it's a betrayal.
I watched him before Bigger and Blacker at the Comedy Cellar when I was a teen.
It's
this
a betrayal.
Like if I saw Dave Attell at Burning Man.
Oh my God. You would never see him.
You would never.
You would never.
Not in your goddamn. Would you ever catch my Dave Attell at Burning Man?
I mean, so I guess that's like a part of it. Like if you guys listen to the Patreon at all, some of this is going back to it. Like, there is a level of integrity that we ask of these sort of like tentpole comedy people that may also be sort of unfair, but yeah, that's like the part of it that is very, it feels like
it's a betrayal of your promise to me. of who you are, what you stand for, what your thoughts are, what your takes are. None of your takes make sense now.
Not anymore. Yeah.
I can't listen to your comedy talking about the racial inequities of our society when you're hanging out with Diplo in the back of a fucking Ford 150 in a drowned out Burning Man situation. Like, no.
And this is the reason why we're going to stay true and real. You guys never have to question our integrity because one, we never had any, and two,
from the get-go.
So we're never promising you that. And then secondly, we'll never have enough money to portray anything. So that's actually why we stay humble for you guys.
For you. This is for you. I could be Chris Rock if it wasn't for you. You know
we're
what?
Staying humble. That's the money destroys.
All right, guys. It's time to get into our highlights and lowlights of our weeks in a very special, sexy segment called
Rock Hard Tops and Soft, Flaccid Bottoms.
I'll start with my bottom this week.
Okay.
So, as you all are aware, the strikes continue on. Both SAG-AFTRA and WJ strikes. It's like beyond WJ, beyond like we're going up to 150 days now. So
it's crazy. It's really wild.
It's fucked up. People are suffering, and I'm suffering as well. It's been a very like emotionally hard situation, especially being back in LA. I don't have as much stage time, so like I'm left, twiddling my thumbs and like picking my asshole, waiting for someone to put me on their stage.
Absolutely.
And it's a bad situation, I'm going to say. And of course, I'm not writing, and that's on me. So so now I'm here like looking to get a job to pay for rent. So I'm here like applying. I've applied to 11 jobs this week or in the last 2 weeks. I have been rejected from every single job, saying, sorry, we're going with someone else. Sorry, we're not continuing. Sorry, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I get it. Maybe I'm not the best candidate, whatever, in these situations. I've been, out of the tech world for a while. I'm applying for some tech jobs, some copywriting jobs. I'm just like doing as much as I can. And this week on Thursday, I got rejected from none other than the AARP. Yes.
To do what?
To be a data analyst.
Shut
for fucking
up.
Retired oldies. And they were like, no, I don't think so. And I'm like, bitch, you would be so lucky to fucking have me. All right? Who the fuck do you think you are? You and your antiquated systems? I bet you're still using SQL, bitch. I got so mad. I was like, how dare you? You would be so lucky to have a young, spry, almost 41-year-old data analyst in your fucking employ, all right? AARP? Fuck out of here. I got so offended. I was like, this place of all places would love a young spirit near them. No.
Absolutely.
They said, you're not good enough. Sorry.
Maybe it was like too close to the age of the retirees.
They're like, we only hire people who won't get sick.
Yeah. In their 30s? Like, circle back.
So that was a pretty drastic bottom of the week being, I really thought when I applied to the AARP
that you were going to be working there.
No, not only that they were going to be so thankful for my service, for what I can deliver for them. But they had no interest whatsoever.
The fact that you thought that an employer was going to be grateful to you.
For me.
Like, oh my God. That you want to get into
Peter Kim. Oh, wow. Can't believe we got an out-of-work actor.
EGC alum?
Yes.
Jeff Award nominee?
Jeff Award loser? Yeah. Let's get him on the horn. Anyway, the guy who got cut out of Curb Your Enthusiasm? Yeah, let's get him. Anyway, my top, though.
I would love. Love for that to be the way you got introduced on Brought on Stage.
The guy who got cut out of his favorite show, Curb Your Enthusiasm. Please welcome Peter Kim.
That's what we should all do. Like,
just what's your credit? I got cut out of Curb. Okay.
I didn't win a Jeff Award. I was nominated.
Yeah, I was nominated and then lost a Jeff Award. What's a Jeff Award? No worries. It's like a Kids' Choice Awards, but worse. All right. Anyway, my top. There's so many bottoms, but my top of the week was a pretty good top, I will say.
Ooh.
I talked about this on the Patreon. Go check out the Patreon. We spilled some tea, but I did
really
a show.
Good tea.
Really good tea. I'm gonna get in trouble. My career's over. But I did a show at this place called Largo at the Coronet, and it's a wonderful venue. Top comedians, alt comedy scene kind of like lives there. I did Pete Holmes. Thank you, Pete Holmes. His show, and he was an amazing host. By the way, he did not tell me this, but I was running late to the show, right? Because the show started at 8. I try to be there at 7:30. Yeah. I'm going to get there at 7:55. So I text Pete. I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm stuck in traffic. I'll be there at 7:55. And he's like, no problem. And then I get there, and he's like, hey. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm so late. He was like, no, it's fine. It's fine. You're not going to go out for a while. I'm like, oh, can I see the lineup? And he shows me the lineup, and I'm first. And I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, yeah, take a load off. Like, go smoke a cigarette if you smoke or whatever. Like, come back. And I was like, I'm a first.
First,
though.
yeah.
So they're like, the stage manager comes back, and he's like, hey, Pete, 5 minutes. And I was like, okay, what the fuck? What was he talking about? So I start stretching, and I'm like getting into the mood. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go off first. I have to like make sure to bring it, blah, blah. Pete goes on, and he starts like doing, his hosting, whatever bit. And he goes on, and he goes on. And then the owner, Flanagan, he's the owner of Largo, this hilarious kind of like Irish dad with like a little like golf hat on, and he's wearing like he's a character. He's wearing like a lime green like a little like outfit. Like he's just like cool and like loves comedy. Okay. He goes, I'm gonna fuck up this Irish accent, but he goes, oh yeah, you better sit down. You better sit down, laddie, because he's gonna take a while.
What is happening? Why is that your accent?
Did I go Scottish?
No, you went.
Sorry.
You didn't go any. Yeah. Nothing in the UK region.
No, you went Ewok. He said, oh, laddie, you might want to sit down, laddie. Whatever. And I go, oh, really? And he goes, yeah, he's going to be about 40 minutes. I go, what?
He does like, a full set up top.
He said he's doing 20, but trust me, he's going to go 40. And I go, what? And I sit there, Pete Holmes, at 25 minutes. I'm like, okay, he's going to bring it home. He starts into another bit, and the bit like starts killing. And Pete is such a fucking pro. You can tell because he went out there cold. Yeah. And the full audience packed, like 220. And he's like, all right, you guys are stiff. Like, let's warm you up. Let's get it up. And he's like warming the crowd up, and he's like bringing them to temp almost. You know what I mean? Like, you can see him like
he's preheating.
Them.
He's preheating. Yeah.
Hell yes. He's warming up the oven. And then he gets his 25 mark, and now it's like rolling, right? So
now he's baking.
Now he's baking, and in 15 minutes, this bitch is in the broiler. The audience is like, like truly like a fucking concerto. Like I'm like, I'm truly like, you know how you and I, when we were on the East Coast, we were like, we fucking peaked at stand-up New York. You know, like, watching this man, I mean, albeit they're here for Pete Holmes living at Largo, so it's his show, it's his audience. So like, granted that, but he has them in his hand and like going nuts, and they're and I'm starting to get worried right? Because I'm up after him. He's doing 40 minutes of the most killer material anyone's heard.
Yeah.
Right? And then he's like, "Gah, gah, gah," and he leaves them like so loud. And he goes, "All right, you ready for your first comic?" And everyone's looking at me like Kumail's there. This guy Malik from Canada was there, very funny. Another guy Byron. And they're all looking at me like, "Go kill it." I'm like, okay. And I go out there and they're like, "Yay." And Pete Holmes like gives me a big hug. And first joke out, I go, because Pete is like 6'6", like he's huge. And so he hugs me and I go, "Give it up for Pete Holmes. Yeah, the only man in LA that makes me look a little twink."
Yeah.
And then like no one laughs.
What?
This one gay in the front row goes like this. Yeah. And then all the straights are like, bing, 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 bing. And I'm like, oh my God. And then from there, I'm like, I got to win them. So I'm like going into my jokes and whatever. Anyway, the top was that not only did I do the show, the guy Flanny, the owner of Largo, loved it so much. He was like, "Text me right now. Give me your number. I like to get you back on shows here with Sarah Silverman and other people and friends." So like now I'm like,
"You're in
with the Largo.
You're in.
I'm in with the Largo. I got him on text." So that was a huge top because I was feeling so crazy, like worried about not getting stage time and this and that, and like not having any purpose. And then after doing that set, which was, by the way, not a 10. My set was like a 7.5 at most.
Sure.
Like truly. But he loved it and he wants to give me opportunities. So I'm like, yes, ma'am, let's go. And so
it's actually a hard spot to be behind basically the headliner
of the show. And then to reset and then go into my groove. Like, it was really hard.
Yes.
But yeah, and it took me, like I did a 12-minute set. It took me like 6 minutes to crack them.
Absolutely.
Truly. Like it was a huge reset.
Of sort.
And then I went back up and I finished strong. But it was hard, but I know it was very exciting. So that was my top.
Okay, so that's incredible. You're in. That's so exciting. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. I needed an in. I needed a win.
Yes. My bottom is our tops and bottoms are very similar. Like our tops and bottoms, like they would be fucking really seamlessly. Like they're the same size. So height wise. So my bottom is I like kind of fucked up. I have been accustomed to getting a few dates every month, like having my weekends booked out by clubs, and I've gotten a little lazy. Usually I don't depend on anybody, and I'm just constantly, pounding away. I set aside time to always book, and I book myself out every month. I'm always I very rarely have less than 3 shows a week. Just since whenever. Yeah. So I fucked up and I'm looking at my September calendar and I'm realizing I have very, very few shows.
What are we talking?
Like 4.
4 shows total?
In September.
For the one a week?
I was freaking out. So I start to grovel, Peter. I start to send out Instagram messages to people I have never talked to in my life. Shows I don't even know the name of.
I'm doing that every day in LA.
But I mean, like the level of groveling that I was doing and the panicked emails I'm sending to the Laugh Factory. Truly like embarrassing sort of things because I'm looking for sets in September. So it's like now.
Yeah.
People are booked through November.
You usually book a month ahead, or how do you do it?
Absolutely. A month to 2 months, really. And so because if you book out 2 months, those are like a higher quality shows, and then you fill in with the other monthlies or weeklies that you can get, right? So I'm freaking out. I mean, the level of like, I'm saying to you, when I say that I'm following up on people almost within 24 hours, like I'm just circling back to this. I'm not letting people wait. I'm pushing, and the level of groveling I'm having to do and the kinds of shows I'm having to try to put myself into, humbling. I'm not above doing any show, clearly. But it was humbling to have to try to get guest spots at this point, because I'm not even doing 10-minute sets, 12-minute sets.
You're
nowhere
going for
near.
Fives?
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
5 to 7. Because I'm gonna ignore that light. So like
they're like, all right, Jay, for your guest set, when should we light you? 3, 4? You're like, light me at 7.
7. Okay.
And I'll wrap up at 10.
10. Because I don't know how to do a shorter set anymore. But I mean, like,
truly, like, fuck you, guest set. I'm on the show, bitch.
Like, I mean, yeah, I'm the captain now vibes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, truly, the level of, I mean, it's just, if you've ever scrambled to finish something like in school or whatever, like the panickiness that I'm experiencing. And then I did book myself out. So I'm booked and now I'm doing October, but like the panic I felt, that was a bottom. Like I also, if I was a normal person, if I had any sort of like self-preservation, I could have also taken this as a sign that maybe I should chill, do mics and write a little bit instead of panicking and putting myself and injecting myself into situations and shows that I don't necessarily have to do. It just in my mind. So now I'm just going to bomb these shows because I want to do these things and I want to still write and try new material. So it's just like, what am I doing? You know, what is and that realization for me, a bottom. Like not only the groveling and the debasing and all the stuff, because secretly do love. And then
you get off. Yeah.
I do get off, erect. And so, but the other part is like, why do I need this? Like in this way? You know, because there are smarter ways I could have gone about this. There are more self-caring ways to have gone about this. And that would have been not only more efficient, but more conducive to creating a better set for myself. And I'm like in this grind mentality, as opposed to, so that it was a bottom. And I did chill. At a certain point, I was like just adding shows because I was just so like, I'd asked so many people and they were finally getting back to me after I had followed up with them 3 to 4 times.
Now you can't say no.
I can't say no. So like, because at that point I'm like, I have 4 shows September.
Now you're busy with a bunch of 5-minute sets.
Like on September 21st, doing like 3 fucking sets all over the city. You know what I mean? Like
wow.
So I'm trying. I was trying to lean back on it.
You're saying that the bottom is not just the groveling because you love the groveling, but the fact that you realize that you were panicking because you didn't have sets, and that ergo you only feel calm when you're booked up.
And that I couldn't let it be. That I couldn't like have just been chill about it. It's the level of panic I experienced.
Yeah.
That was the bottom where I was just like, oh, what's going on? Like, what?
I'm worthless. Yeah.
I'm yes.
Yeah.
So that was the bottom. Where
that's like hard though. Like when I see my calendar, if my calendar is not full, I feel depressed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm worthless. And I'm not talking about social calendar. I could not give a fuck what those low boxes said about someone's birthday or hang.
Absolutely.
They better be shows.
And I'm compromising stuff. That's the bottom. I'm compromising hangs. I'm compromising relationships because I need to do this.
Oh, those are bottom. Those are bottoms.
Those are bottoms.
Yeah.
So my
Give me your top.
is also a show. After talking about this. But my top was doing a show in Chicago called Fly Honeys. And I don't know if you guys like outside of Chicago know what it is, but it is like a dance collective, a spontaneous creative collaboration between artists and dancers and singers. And like, it's at Thalia Hall, truly like a ton of people. There's no way I could. It's the show itself. Like my set went well, but there's no way I couldn't have done well. It's a psychotic situation. The vibes are unmatched. So the high is not actually my set. Crazy enough, it was actually the show itself. The vibes, immaculate. Like I left inspired.
Wow.
Because
Peter, that's crazy.
It really is.
To go do a set and feel inspired.
by the show.
That rarely happens. Yeah.
By the show. And like the esprit de corps of the cast of Fly Honeys, like it's truly okay. Peter, have you ever been?
No.
Okay. So it is incredibly successful. They do it all week. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 nights. Sold, like pretty much sold out a lot of the nights. And at Thalia Hall, like, I don't know, probably
Huge
400 or 500, huge venue. Cause it's also standing. So it probably could do more. And aside from the balcony, if something like this was that successful in New York or LA, these bitches would be trying to do it every month. They would be touring with it. It would be a goddamn thing. And instead, because it's Chicago, it's just once a year. It's just that one little weekend.
It's once a year?
Absolutely.
Oh, it's like a festival.
Yes. It's just once a year. It's a special fucking little thing. And they sometimes do little workshops or whatever, but they keep it special. They keep it small, and they keep it utterly like lateral. Like the hierarchy and stuff like that. It's just, we are all together. We are all like, it's so beautiful. There's a rotating cast. Like it's so deeply inspiring, like as a creative person, to see that not everything, like our bottoms, like it's not about the cash. It's not about being booked. It's not about this hustle. It's like, we are doing a goddamn thing. Something about us is this, like the creative spirit. It is something to be nurtured. It is special. And especially in Chicago, it can stay that way. It doesn't have to be commoditized.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to become this thing that's psychotic and another, like this insistence that it reaches another level and needs to do this. Like, it is truly, it's a perfect ratio of really being good, like actually good. The dancing and the quality is high. And the cheesiness, like the right amount of like saccharine, like we're all together sort of vibes of like feel good and
like corny theater camp feels.
Corner theater camp stuff. Like it's all and campiness, and then everything is queer. Like it's all so, it's an intoxicating ratio and concoction that like literally feels like it'd only be in this place with these people. And that's what's special about it. Like
it feels like, it sounds like I've never been, I've never seen, I've only seen your pictures, and your gold dress looked amazing. It looks so good.
Yes. Amazon, $24.
I'm so glad you went with that one instead of the other one.
Yes.
But it sounds like this was kind of like our solution to Burning Man.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
In spirit.
Absolutely.
In spirit.
Yes.
It is the antithesis of Chris Rock and Diplo getting stuck on an F-150, hitchhiking out of the mud. This was like, let's stay in the mud. Let's be queer. Let's be communal. Let's be happy. Let's be fun. And none of it has to do anything with becoming bigger, better, stronger, whatever.
Absolutely.
It only exists in these 4 days, and that's the beauty of it. That's what Burning Man used to be. The effigy, that's what that was for.
Take note. I mean, also all the performers are paid well. Like it's truly it is like, feels like a pinnacle of something, like not in a like masculine way where it's like an erection, like reaching a peak. It feels like you're full. You're not hitting a height, you're hitting like you're full inside, and like that's a vibe. Like people have been coming to this like Burning Man like for years and years. Like they have grown. They used to be at the Chopin, then they went to the Den, and now they're at fucking Thalia Hall. Like it is, and it's crazy. Once a year. There's no other. It's just happening inside this space only. The production value very high. Like you're getting your money's worth. It's no people were some, because it is expensive now because it's at Thalia, and I had one of my friends went, and she was balking a little bit at the ticket price, and she was like, afterwards she was like, you know what, well worth it. No part of it felt like.
What was the ticket price?
$50 for GA.
Oh, okay, yeah, not crazy.
Not crazy, but it does feel crazy for like something like this.
Yeah.
But also, no one feels left feeling like unfulfilled. Everyone leaves. I mean, audience members like I as a creative felt fulfilled, audience members feel so fulfilled because they're a part of this, making this thing as just as important as the people on stage. It's truly a top in a way that was like, yes, I crushed, but there was no way I wouldn't have crushed. I could have stood on stage
You were
and
set
taken
up
a
for
shit.
success.
Absolutely. I taken a shit and they would have been like, interesting, like go off.
Yeah. A queer icon.
Yes, like truly. And that's why, like, imagine if we had that sort of environment to create in.
I could only
It's
imagine.
dangerous. It's almost dangerous.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. So that's my top.
Well, I'm so happy for you. That's
it was so
incredible.
great. Okay, you ready for this week's? Oh my gosh, you know what? I'm sorry, Peter. I actually heard someone at the door. I have to go get it. Okay,
Go get
you
it.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Is this week's Tramalama?
Ding dong. Trauma ding dong. Okay, so my Trauma ding dong this week. I thought of it while I was perusing my homosexual pornography on the internet. And I came upon a link. How old am I? I came upon like a little video on the gay Pornhub. And it was of a man named Ken Riker. Now, for those of you uninitiated, Ken Riker is a late 80s, early 90s gay porn heartthrob.
Oh, okay.
He died actually recently, like around COVID times. And so many, by the way, gay porn stars have died where like I like know of them. They have aroused me. I have completed myself to them. Yes. And now they are ghosts. So like there's so many, because like a lot of gay porn actors are in a bad situation. They're drug addicted, they're criminals, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of like bad behavior happening. But anyway, besides that, Ken Riker was this like early 90s guy. And the reason why I bring it up is because in the early 90s, I was a very closeted gay boy, and I had this, I had dial-up, as most of us did in our generation.
Absolutely. Yeah,
14.4K. Yes, AOL is a messenger.
Online. Yes.
So I logged on to my AOL, and my mom was very pissed because she had to make a phone call. And back then, kids, you couldn't dial the phone and be on the internet at the same time.
No.
So my mom like picked up the phone and she heard like, and she put it down, and she goes, "Yeah, 전화끊어." You know, like, get off the phone. I'm going to have to make a phone call. I'm like, all right, give me 5 minutes. And I said, give me 5 minutes because I was downloading a .jpeg of Ken Riker in his full nude glory, just sitting there, bare chest out, dick swinging out, and just like looking sultry, right? And again, this is 14.4 days. So there was no video of people having sex. It was literally a static JPEG that you had to download. And it would download like this. They would be like, it would literally go bar by bar.
Yes.
And download, right?
Yes.
So I'm downloading. It's like, and I'm like, come on, the nipple. Come on, get to the abs. And my mom's like, balik ka na! I'm like, all right, hold on. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing homework. She's like, yeah, right. I'm like screaming back and forth. And I'm like, hurry up. And it's like, getting down to now his belly button.
Ooh.
He's an innie. So I'm like, yes. You know, I see hole. And he's like, and then Amma's like, hurry up. And it's like getting down to his penis. Right? And I'm like, come on. And then it's like almost there. And then my mom gets so frustrated at me. She bursts into the room. And I'm so agile. Okay. Credit to me at that time. I take my mouse and I X out of the thing.
Sure.
Now, okay, for 30 minutes, I've been downloading this JPEG.
Yeah.
And that's how scared I was that I was like, I was almost at the penis and I X'd out of it.
Of course.
Right? And I go, ching, and I turn around, right? And I go, what's going on? And she's like, she looks at my screen, and I'm like, I closed out of it, so what is she looking at? She's like, 뭐 하는 거야 지금? What are you doing? And I'm like, 공부하고 있어. Like, I'm doing homework.
Yeah.
And she's like, 미친놈. And she closes the door, right? Like, crazy bastard. And she closes the door.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with her? And I turn around, and it turns out that when I was saving the JPEG, I saved it as wallpaper. So it's saved on my computer background. So there's like icons on my computer on the background, and Ken Riker's dick is hanging out on my computer background. And I turn around and I'm like, ah! I was so shocked. I was like, oh my God. How could this have happened? And back then, I'm using an i486. This is like early computer time, so I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I thought it was save as something, but it said I clicked save as wallpaper.
Peter. That's cool.
So,
oh my. She didn't say anything ever to you again about
it? For 16 years. Until I came out to her.
And then she mentioned it? She remembered?
No, I mentioned it to her. I was like, because my mom, when I came out to her, she was like, what? What are you talking about? You're not gay. And I was like, okay, remember that one time you barged into my room and there was a naked man on my computer? And she was like, no. And I go, oh my God. So she didn't even see it. So for 16 years, I was toiling inside of myself thinking like, my mom knows I'm gay. She's on the computer. How am I going to come out to her? And I'm just like, oh my God.
I mean, the right click mouse, the right click menu. The right click menu truly... This is the reason why millennials do know technology a little better, because we have a relationship with the right click, we have a relationship with the mouse, we have a relationship with PCs, and then we have a relationship with Apple IIe's. We have a relationship,
yes.
And they're all different OS. We have to learn, and these mistakes are a part of learning. Really learning.
So the trauma is not that my mom caught me, is that I assumed my mom caught me. And turns out 16 years later, she had no idea. So I was carrying around that shame, the weight of that for so long.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so I went back and clicked on this link of Ken Riker because I wanted to be like, who was this man that I had such a grip on my soul for so long? And I watched his porn.
Yeah.
And gotta say, not great. He has a huge dick, but he never stays hard. It's like curved down. And he's clearly like gay for pay. So he's not like enjoying it that much. He's just like, oh yeah, like being like bad acting. And I'm like, I can't believe this is what I struggled for that long. You know what I mean? Like this was it. And of course now at 41, I have so much perspective. But at that time, as a 16-year-old, I was just like, or 14. Anyway.
I mean, it's so crazy. I mean, the thing is that kind of perspective, like that kind of perspective, like where you realize like no one is looking for you. No one cares.
Ain't nobody looking for you, hon.
No one's looking for you. But so my trauma this week is very recent, and it's like during pandemic. But this is the thing. Even with age, you do really learn no lessons. Like we know this, but nothing has really stuck in my brain because like during pandemic, I would only go to this one cafe because they had pickup and we go in, and they were all very good about masking. And this is during the era where like, you know, during pandemic, so much of our content interaction was only happening online. So like I found myself as a 40-year-old person, 39-year-old person, really starting to take on a lot and like ingesting a lot of Gen Z content, right? Like I'm seeing a lot of that, like go off, cap, like whatever bullshit, like bet. Like I'm seeing a lot of that kind of content. Obviously, I've never used it because it's not for me, or I don't even know how to really use it, right? but I'm watching a lot of it. And so I'm going to this cafe a lot. Peter, I was friends with them. By the way, also the people that worked at this cafe, there were identical twins there. I did not realize they were identical twins. They also to be an identical twin, to be an adult identical twin, and to have the same haircut as well, and work at the same place.
No,
what's your crazy? Trauma? Exactly, what's going on, sir? So
they were male.
Absolutely,
no. Male twins are illegal.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
If you're a male identical twin, prison.
You got to go to. I'm sorry. The law. It's
Don't
the
pass
law.
Go. You're going
Truly, it was like, because I already find adult twins unnerving. So like, I think I wasn't prepared for it. And also, this is the part of it, like, because I didn't realize they were twins, I was engaging with and having half relationships with each of them.
Oh no.
So every time I would have a relationship or a conversation with one, and then he didn't remember the next time I saw him, I started to take it to heart. I was like, well, what was wrong with the interaction that he didn't remember this conversation, where I thought I was being pretty dazzling, because it's during the pandemic, so I'm like really unleashing a lot of charisma at these people,
and they never worked at the same time, so you couldn't see them together. Oh my god. Well, at least, okay, pause for a second, at least these freaks didn't work the same shifts. That would be I would have lost my demonic. I would have lost my mind. I really would have. I would have called the police. It would have been 911. Like, I would have called a priest. Hellbound.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Priest, rabbi, shaman, and police.
Yes, witch doctor. Let's go. Clear the air.
Truly, so I was also already in my head about this relationship because I didn't understand that they were like two different people, and I was having one relationship with both of them.
Half of one.
Half of one with like a trauma fit. Like I was so.
And what was the relationship like? Were you friendly? Were you?
I was so friendly.
So friendly. What was the vibe?
Just like full of like, I was throwing a lot of charisma at them because charm because there was no shows. This is the middle of pandemic. I'm really unleashing a lot of stuff at them, and every time that he didn't recognize or remember a thing that I was trying to call back from the last time I had would make me spiral. And then it would only spur me and knowing me, that would then spur me to double down and be even more charismatic at the next time.
Yeah. Which means I was like, your charisma is already at a 12, which is leaning into offense. But now you're doubling up. So yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, through a mask, during the mask, because I'm just doing a lot of eye work. A lot of eye work.
And your hands.
Eyebrows. Hands. I'm gesturing.
Yes.
I'm going like, it's crazy. And I'm like, ha ha, I'm cackling, all of it. So finally,
that's so embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing. But the actual thing that happened that really, so he would try to, the same person, but it was only one person in my mind. So he would always try to make different drinks, like surprise me in this. And like, this is how we're keeping things a little interesting during pandemic and blah, blah, blah. And he's like a true artist as a barista. Like I'm giving him his prop and giving respect to his craft. And one time I went with my family for this walk, and he was giving me a type of like hot cocoa that he had added some spice to or whatever. And he was like, so let me know what you think. And I took it. And at that point I took a sip and I looked at him, Peter, I lifted it up in the air and I was like, yo, this shit slaps.
Oh no. Oh no.
Like he looks
you
at me like... You
should have been slapped. Someone should have slapped you.
He looks at me and he's
Your
like...
mom should have came in and just slapped you in the face with her strepa.
Like, I mean, like, even as it's coming out of my mouth, I'm like, what's happening?
You hated yourself.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
I've never said this collection of words together before in my life. And I'm talking about a hot cocoa. I'm talking about a hot cocoa. Yo. This shit slap. And I said it like crazy, like that. This shit slaps.
This shit slaps.
Like, like I couldn't have been. I should have crumbled into salt, into dust, and blown away.
You should have been like Lot's wife, turning around, looking at Gomorrah, just
a pillar of salt. Like truly, I don't know what happened to me. It was just like, that was one of those moments where, like, inside a pandemic, you understand we are broken. We are broken, and we all need to give each other more grace. And it was truly one of those things where I'm like,
how did he react?
He went like, and then backed away slowly. And I never went there again.
Good. You should not. You shan't show your face. Not in that cafe. You should stop coffee for a while. That is disgusting behavior. I cannot believe.
Like truly, I'm like,
wow.
I'm so sorry. I'll never describe something as slapping or being litty ever. This is just not me. It was psychotic. But yeah, that's it. Whew.
The depths you will go to try to engage.
Absolutely.
Or charm another human being that you think
doesn't
but
like me?
is actually their twin. Shame on you. All right. It's that time for, you know what, guys? If you have a trauma that you want to share with us, small or big, if it's funny, email us at 2kimscomedy@gmail.com and maybe we'll just read it out on the pod. All right. Thanks. That's it for that. And right now it's time for our final segment in which we introduce something we're absolutely obsessed with. Sit back and bitch, get into it. This week I am going to, this is for all dog owners out there. So my dog is a very verbal top, meaning he he does call me a faggot. Now Alex, you're gonna have to cut that out. Actually, leave it in. Who cares? Anyway,
leave it out. That's so crazy.
No, leave it in. Leave it in.
Oh my god!
I might add that to a bit I've been doing lately about like being inappropriately horny.
It's actually your dog?
No. It's not my dog. It's a neighborhood pit bull.
Okay. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so my dog is very verbal. He barks a lot, and he's not just barking to be like aggressive. It's like how he talks, how he greets anyone. Okay. But he is also very protective of our space. So, and we have a lot. I live in East LA, so there's a lot of like. They're not stray, they're just unleashed dogs. Okay. It's very what I hear is apropos in Mexico, where like you just let your dogs out and they roam and they come back at night or whatever. It's like feral kids. Sure. So my dog was crazy. Yes, free range kids. So I got a bark collar that just did not work. Okay. It just like was it was one of those things that like it's called pet safe, so it's supposed to be like non-abusive, right? Like nicely correcting behavior. And they have like language on their box like the way you communicate with your animal friend is crucial to how he communicates back or something like that. I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, like elevated language for a dog. Yeah. But it's supposed to be harmful for them. So I get it. And it's just not working because it's based on his bark and how it like elevates. So I ended up getting my friend Joe, shout out Joe, got me this. It's from PetSafe. It's a remote trainer. So my dog, you can see on the video, he already got into it. Chewed it up. He's so smart. He knew this was what I was using to correct his behavior. So he was like, yoink, and he took it outside and started chewing it up. Oh, wow. But luckily it still works. But it is it has all these different modes like vibrate and tone and also static shock. And what it does is, I know it sounds crazy, but it just kind of like bothers him when he's barking. Okay. And it doesn't like hurt him or anything. It just goes around his neck and then it distracts him from what he's obsessively barking over. And it's the only, I've tried 3 different ones. Yeah. And this is the only thing that's worked. So if you have a very verbal, dominant top as your pet, that will call you homophobic slurs. Get yourself one of these pet safe remote trainers. It really does work, and it is actually safe for your dog. Like I'm up to like it goes from level 1 to 15.
Yeah.
And he's so like manic that I have to go up to 15. It doesn't hurt him. It just like distracts him from whatever he's like obsessing over. So
what's it called again?
It's called Pet Safe Remote Trainer.
Okay.
Yeah, bitch, get into it.
Get into it. My bitch get into it this week is also a part of a highlight, but my bitch get into it is last minute get-togethers. I will say that we as a culture are obsessed with the GCal invite. We are obsessed with planning and like, especially with around entertaining. Like if you're a host person, you really do go off and you kind of spiral about like what you kind of spread you're going to have, what you're going to have, amount of people that you're going to have. And like, you really want to make sure that everyone is taken care of, and you put a lot of pressure on yourself, especially if you are someone that likes to host and, or if you're someone that hates to host because of that same pressure. I've lately been pushing this last minute get together because I can't get it together far enough to be like, in 2 weeks, I should come. In a month out, this is the occasion, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, the last minute get together, like I'm talking about 3-4 days before you're like, hey, what are you guys doing this weekend? If like you send it out to a bunch of people, 3 people respond, those people are the ones that are getting together. And it's easy. And that's it. And like, how about this? Because it's a last minute get together, there's no pressure on you. There's no pressure from the people that are coming because they know it's a last minute thing. We're just going to swing by. Yeah. It's very casual. The casual last minute get together, highly recommend. I would say that because like we are so often so highly scheduled people, like when you have a free minute and you kind of are feeling up to it, why the fuck not? Like truly, that is the only way that now, because I've been pushing it, I've been able to see a lot of my friends, especially my mom friends. Like if there's a window, it's just like, yeah, let's just come over. You don't have to make it a thing. There doesn't need to be an activity. There doesn't need to be a theme. There doesn't need to be like a fucking cheese platter, charcuterie. Spread, absolutely not. Just
a couple of LaCroix and a fucking hot Cheetos and you're good to go.
Thank you. Some chips and dip, you're good.
I love a last minute get together. I hate planning things. I'm impromptu queen, okay? Because most times I don't want to plan anything because guess what? When you plan something, you start having expectations. And when you have expectations, you get let down.
Absolutely.
And I'm not trying to be the reason I get let down.
I always let myself down. I'm obsessed with letting myself down.
I know, and I love to be good at it.
I am. And I love to be a disappointment. So like I think I love being disappointed. I love to be a disappointment. But like the last minute nature of it not only ensures that it happens, because how often have you made a big deal of something and it's like a month and a half, 6 weeks, a month out, and like people start dropping like flies. Oh no, this came up. This came up. This came up. And all of a sudden you've planned for a gathering of 15 and 8 people show up. Like that shit hurts versus last minute get together. It's small, it's informal. And honestly, because there aren't the expectations, people just like have more easy fun. You're not having this expectation to be like, what's going on in your life? Catch up. It's just casual.
Yeah. You're just having conversations. That's nice. Yeah.
And that's how we sustain. That's how I think the easiest way to sustain real relationships with friends that you don't see that often.
That's the last minute impromptu thing I really do miss because LA, that's not the culture. It's very GCal focused. It's very like planning focused, invite focused. Yes. And it's like we have a social calendar and this is what we do. Now, something that my friends and I established recently, and this is an additional bitch get into it as an addendum to yours, because in LA, it doesn't really work. But a way that we've circumvented it with me and my friends is we have a standing event.
Oh.
So we have a 5 p.m. At a bar.
Yes.
And on Monday nights at 5 p.m., we meet at a bar and it's open. So we'll show up. When we show up, the number of us might be different. Who can show up, who wants to, who's feeling too tired. But it is a thing to feel in a city like LA more rooted in a city because there's something consistent happening and there's something that is always there. So it's like also low pressure. Like you don't have to show up if you don't want, if you're feeling, but there's something happening that Monday night, every night. So you can show up and something will be there. So it's almost like, it feels like a communal situation that like we kind of don't have much of. So try that. All right, that's our show for the week. Thank you so much. Bitches, get into all of that. And check out the Patreon. We recorded a bunch of new episodes, so please check out the Patreon. And reach out to us on 2kimscomedy@gmail.com if you have some tramalama ding dongs. And otherwise, we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.